Yo, 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 what is going on, guys? Joey Sugarbuck is back here with another video for you guys. So, we're about to talk about the Ravens. Yay! Wow. Interesting moves today, as I'm sure most of you know. Ravens made a decision to fire Don, or Wink Martindale, as he is known, defensive coordinator for the Ravens. He's been with the Ravens for a long time. And today, they have decided to part ways with him with 1 year left on his contract after one of our defense's worst seasons, but granted, we were dealing with a lot of injuries. All right, so I'm trying not to overreact here. You know, when it first came out, I was all over Twitter. Ravens fans were going crazy, saying, "Oh my God, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?" Here's the thing, though, and I think people gotta set aside the bias, which I think is really hard to do, because when I was looking on Twitter, the first thing I saw a lot of people saying, first thing I saw them say, not was, "Oh my God, how could you do this? Martindale's so good." Not that. What they were saying was, "Wrong coordinator," or, "Oh, wait, this isn't Roman getting fired." For anyone who doesn't know, Greg Roman, offensive coordinator, speculation that he will be fired this year. The whole Ravens fan base wants him gone. They think he's terrible. So the fact that they fired the other coordinator before him is really getting on everyone's nerves. But at the same time, that's already kind of a sign of deflection because they didn't really defend the idea that Martindale is good. They kind of went right to attacking Roman and saying, "Oh, how could you fire Martindale before firing Roman?" So I'm mixed about this move, honestly. If you guys have noticed, I've always been kind of critical of Martindale. I think he's kind of been overrated a little bit. He has his good things, and granted, he was our coordinator when we were the number one defense in the league in 2018. I will give him that. But I kind of think he's too predictable. He blitzes too much. He relies too much on the blitz. And I understand when you have such a bad four-man pass rush, or just pass rush in general, I understand it's hard to lean away from the blitz. But on third and longs, he literally did it like essentially every time. And it was too predictable. I think teams kind of figured it out. And I don't know. So in that way, I'm okay with it. I think he was too predictable. And I think his bigger issue, his scheme is very questionable, at least for pass rushers. I mean, here's the thing. Besides 2018, when we had Martindale, our pass rush, 2019, it was awful. Last year, it was bad, not quite as bad. This year, it was awful again. Not as bad as 2019, but it was still bad. So I don't know, man. It's just his scheme is not good for pass rushers. It's an issue. Well, why? Because a lot of times pass rushers in this defense don't succeed, but also when pass rushers leave, they do well. Matthew Judon just had a career year with the Patriots. Yannick Ngakoue had one of his best years with the Raiders after having a really rough year last year. Actually, I will say, statistically, Ngakoue wasn't terrible last year, but he clearly was not himself. And with us, he was very quiet. Point remains, when he left, he did a lot better. So, I don't know. It's really interesting with him because pass rushers just seem to do better whenever they leave the Ravens, which is really weird. But I think this does mean his scheme is not good for pass rushers. It's not pass rush friendly, and I think that that's an issue. So, on that side, I'm okay with us firing him. At the same time, though, I think he's been solid for a while. He had a great relationship with the Ravens, and again, I know, I can be nitpicky and talk about how bad our pass rush is and how he's too predictable, but at the same time, besides this year, our defense in general has been very good. Little overhyped in 2019. I kind of think our defensive line was really weak and we got exposed in the playoffs, but besides that, our defense has been really good for the most part. It's had its rough games. It's had its injuries. Take this year, for example. But in general, it has been quite good, the defense, for a long time. So, on that side of it, I am not so sure I like this move of firing Martindale. I'm mixed on this, honestly. I see the good in it. I see the bad in it. I would say most of the fan base is not happy. I don't think it's as egregious as people say. I absolutely see the argument for why Martindale should have been fired and why it was the right move. I also see the argument for why it maybe wasn't. And then the debate is, what do we do with Roman? Is Roman going to stay? Is Roman going to leave? I don't know. I've been saying it for a while. People keep doubting me, but I don't think Roman's going anywhere, guys. I hate to say it. I don't think he is. Now, I'm critical of Martindale more so than most Ravens fans. And then with Roman, it's kind of the opposite. They're really hard on Roman. I'm not as hard on him. He has his flaws, clearly. And it kind of seems like every single time to start the year, he shows a lot of promise. Even this year, the offense looks great to start the year. It was in sync. Our passing game was better than it had been in a long time. But then I feel like we kind of went back to old habits of getting too predictable, running the same plays on third and short, and struggling on offense. Our offense really, really struggled midway through the season. And then when Jackson got hurt, I mean, it screwed everything up. I know all the injuries didn't help, but I don't know. I feel like Roman is just really inconsistent. And again, when we get off to hot starts, but we can never keep it consistent. So, if we fired Roman, I would not be like most Ravens fans and jump and celebrate. I would not criticize the decision, though. I think, honestly, if I had to pick, I would say it's probably smart to move on from him. I don't know. He's not a guy who strikes me as clutch in the big games, and I don't know. I think his passing concepts are not very good still. They're better now, but they're still not great. And in today's NFL, when it's a pass-first league, you got to have a good passing game to win deep in the playoffs and win Super Bowls. And I don't think we're going to have that with Roman. So if you fired him, I'd be okay with it. I'd be back and forth. As for Martindale, I know because this video is mostly about Martindale. But again, I'm really conflicted. We'll see. I mean, of course, hindsight's 2020. So next year, we'll see how our defense is. And our defense is good. I'll be like, oh, we should have fired him. If it's excuse me, not so good, I'll think opposite. But as I said, hindsight's 2020. So we'll see what happens. I do think the fan base is overreacting, though. Sometimes it's time for a fresh start, and I think that's what the Ravens were thinking here. It's time for a fresh start. We've had him for a long time. It's been great to have him. Time to move on. That's the mindset that they have. Now, I mentioned this about Roman on how he's not clutch in the big games. And I just thought of something. That's another issue with Martindale. He is not clutch in the big games at all. With the exception, okay, I will make this clear, with the exception of the 2018 Browns game, Week 17, when our defense, the Browns were about to be in field goal range, and then we forced 4 straight incompletions to win the division. That could not have been more clutch. But besides that, in the big games, our defense loves to choke. I'll give you some examples. The Rams. Now, I got to kind of defend it a little bit because it never should have been in that situation. The fact that our offense could not get in the end zone on the drive before was ridiculous. But our defense needed to make a stop on 4th down. It didn't. The Rams got a 1st down, then they got a touchdown. So there's one example. Another example, the Chiefs in 2018. Remember that game where we were really close to pulling off an incredible upset at Arrowhead with Lamar Jackson's rookie year. 4th down and 9, Mahomes rolling out off his back foot across his body, flings it, and he gets it. Defense, we literally, if we made that stop, we had the game in the bag. We choked. Defense chokes there. Who would forget this? 2017. Now, I actually don't know if Martindale was the coach back then, to be fair, or defensive coordinator. I think it was still Dean Pease, but he was still part of it. Our defense choked in that game too. Obviously, Tyler Boyd to ruin our season. So we have the Tyler Boyd play. We have the Kansas City play. It's just, I don't know. Our defense is, a lot of times, he chokes in the big games. And the game against the Bears, he got saved. I mean, the Bears, it was 4th and 11. We blitzed. Why? I'd love to have an explanation. The Bears scored, but thankfully Tyler Huntley led the offense on the field, and we scored again to end the game. But Martindale got saved, and if it wasn't for Tyler Huntley in the offense, we would have choked that game too against the Bears. So our defense in the big games does not come up clutch. And of course, how could I forget the Steelers game? So we had the Rams game, and then the Steelers. Bro, that final drive, the overtime drive, 2 3rd and longs and 4th and long. Like 3rd and 7, 3rd and 9, I think it was, and then 4th and 8, something like that. 2 3rd and longs, 1 4th and long. We could not stop them. That's the Steelers' offense this year. The Steelers' offense sucks, and we still could not stop them. So, again, back to what I was saying. Another reason why I think we fired him, and another reason why I would back up our decision to fire him. Defense, for the most part, chokes in the big games. For the most part. For the most part, it does. There are times where it's come up clutch. The Browns, 2018. And I guess you could say the Chiefs as well. I mean, Oweh making that turnover, forcing that fumble against Hilaire. But at the same time, I feel like Martindale didn't really do much because the Chiefs had marched right down the field. They got like 3 straight completions, but they were in field goal range, and then they just wanted to run it to ice the clock out and then kick the game-winning field goal, but always said otherwise. So I still kind of feel like Martindale got saved there too. So the only game where Martindale really came up big, our defense came up big, was against the Browns in 2018 when it comes to the big games. So again, that would be one reason why too. But I still don't think this was an easy decision. It clearly was not. And I have a little bit of a theory here. Maybe I'm losing my marbles. I wonder if something else was involved. Like maybe there was, I don't know, some blow up with Harbaugh, Martindale, and DaCosta. I don't even know. This is total speculation. I have zero evidence for this. But I don't know. I'm surprised we did it this early. I'm surprised we did it before Roman, because I know everyone thinks that Roman is on his way out. I don't know. I'm a little surprised that we were this quick to do it. Especially, after this year. And here's another reason to think that Roman might be gone too. Our defense had its worst year this year, but we did have so many injuries. I mean, Marcus Peters, Derek Wolfe, Jimmy Smith was out for some time. Brandon Williams was out for some time. Deshaun Elliott. I mean, Marlon Humphrey. It's just the list goes on and on. So with that in mind, we had a lot of injuries, so it's kind of hard to pin it all on Martindale and on the defense in general. I mean, it got so bad that we were just taking guys from McDonald's and just putting them out there. I mean, Avon freaking Seymour. Like, what the hell? Robert Jackson. It's just the secondary, man, got so depleted. It was just ridiculous. Anyways, so with that in mind, you would think, okay, we got to give him kind of a pass. Our defense struggled this year, but with all the injuries, it's kind of what you expect. But no, we decided, nope, you're at it, we're done, we're moving on. So, I mean, maybe the same thing would be said about Roman too, because, the offense had tons of injuries, obviously. J.K. Dobbins, Gus Edwards, Justice Hill, Ronnie Stanley, later in the season, Lamar Jackson. So, we had injuries of our own. Rashad Bateman, of course, too. So, and Sammy Watkins, but that's not new news. He gets hurt every year. So, with that in mind, the offense got off to a good start, but then struggled mightily midway through the season into the end. Had its good moments, but our offense flaked out, or I should say flamed out big time. So, and then the question is, do you say, okay, Roman, we're going to give him another chance because, we had all these injuries, but they didn't do that for Martindale, so that kind of makes me think that we'll probably do the same for Roman. We might move on from him too, because I don't know. You can't get away, again, in this day and age, you can't get away with scoring like 20 points a game. That's not enough. That is not enough. We lost, 16-13, 20-19, I think it was, against the Rams. We got to score more points. We have to score more points. So, and I also feel like I was thinking that before the offseason started, or not really the official, before the Ravens offseason started, I kind of thought either both coordinators would stay or both would leave. So, Martindale left. Let's see what Roman does. I think this is going to be really, really interesting, and we'll see what happens. But guys, fasten your seatbelts, get your bag of popcorn. We will see what happens. And that is going to do it for this video. I hope you all enjoyed it. If you did, be sure to drop a like and subscribe to the channel if you are new. I am out. Peace out. Have a great night. Thank you so much for watching. Go Ravens. Enjoy the games tomorrow. I'll be out with my game picks in just a few minutes.